Hello, Susan Lenart here. Nice cold day in Cleveland. It is like dull, not so bright outside and pretty windy. So you're gonna hear the wind in the background. But anyway, I decided, I'm a jeweler. I decided I've been showing up on Facebook and I decided to start doing some film here on Instagram. I love Instagram so much, it's so beautiful. So I thought I'd start maybe just posting some ideas. I call it jewelry talk and my perspective on jewelry. I have been doing jewelry for 27 years. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. I'm trained as an artist, so I have this right brain kind of conceptual way that I think. And when I moved into jewelry, I actually started doing things more so like museum exhibits and performance pieces and pieces with movement and join. I can always see when another artist has like a ethnographic voice and vocabulary in their work. It's like we match up and we're like, oh, so for me, it's like I actually build, I usually wear bangles when I'm working, but not such crazy ones like this. So, I build boxes and I build bangles and hollow forms and all of this. And I use gems and I'm building even pretty and beautiful and large even. I used to, so my base is that I've been in education for so long and I used to always use my acetylene. There's my acetylene tanks back there. But when I would go around and teach and travel, everybody would have to have their own torch and I was using these butane. It was hard going back and forth to different torches. This is like a $25 setup right here. These two right here. So this one was really intrigued me. It was so interesting for me. And at one time I thought, all right, you know what? Hey, how about if I challenge myself to build everything that I build with this little torch right here? So with this little torch that I started building with, which is, this one actually is a Eurotool head. And this is from Amazon or from any camping store, which I'll do another day where I really talk a lot about this torch. There's something that I want to show you guys today in the end. So I'm going to start, I want to pop on and just show different tips. Maybe, once a week, I'm going to show different tips about how to take care of your body. I've been a jeweler for 25 years. So your hands and your body is the most important tool that you have. So you always want to make sure that you're taking care of your body first. Your stance is good. Your heels are good. Everything that you do is, really you're in a good position for it. So I'll be showing things like foraging and keeping your body well. I want to mention right off the bat is that this is actually, I'm going to bring you over to here. This is actually pretty basically the tool setup that I use. I actually have been able to reduce my tool setup, and here's some pliers too. These go in there. I've been able to reduce my whole tools that I have to have, like the absolute have to have, to this right here. So it's a rotating pan. It's a steel scratch brush. It is a soldering pick, titanium soldering pick, locking pliers, which are essential. These are kind of an extra. I love these pliers. A paintbrush, super essential, and a file. I also like having on my pan. There are, the two types of screens. I use both of these screens in my work. This little screen here, I use when I'm working with smaller pieces, tinier pieces, like the pieces on the ends of here, because you don't need that much heat. I'll use a really big flame. I'll use this one as a big flame. This is actually a denser screen. I'd say it's like a 14 to 12 gauge, and this actually can hold in more heat. Butane flame isn't really that hot, but the thing that so I'm working with screens and steel and things like that just to, make sure that I can maintain my heat. And I'll be showing you, actually it's the, on my website is the Alchemy of Soldering. It's a beginning soldering course. I have it as an e-course. So if you guys don't have anything to do, pop onto that site and take a look at some of the things that I'm showing you guys. I'm showing angles, I'm showing tools. You can pop onto Amazon and get any of this set up and be able to start working in your studio, yay, with this isolation time. Silver is a really good price right now, so it's a nice time to pick up silver too. And then of course, I just have my flux and my different size solders too, sandpaper. But I'm gonna like I said, each time that I come in, I'm gonna show up and talk about a little bit of something with tools. Right now, today, I am going to talk about pliers. But before I get into that, I want to show you a couple pieces. And if you do not know my work, here's some of my talisman that I've been building. So these really, recently, if anyone knows ancient pieces, these actually, the prayer boxes, these have like a Moroccan feel to them. I actually have a workshop to Morocco and it's already full. I have a group of people we're going and it's Moroccan inspired, but we are going for 15 days to look at architecture and art and jewelry and the Berber jewelry and silversmiths there and fossils there. There's all these fossils. And then we're gonna go into a studio for 5 days and do our yoga, but we're also going to be building. Just building from the pieces we collected, building with just different things that we love. So this type of a piece here takes up a lot more heat. So I would use to put this box together. These are all built with that, with the screens and with the tools. Maybe a small piece like this I would use with the small screen, and this I'd use that big heavy screen. And here's another piece that I brought here today that is just really a collection. When I talk about using, a collection of objects besides gems and using a description to describe a piece as an artist, I want my viewer to be able to have a feel of what I'm trying to say here. And I'm hoping through my pieces that I'm successful. So this one actually, I wanted to have a lot of movement. I think people, I actually have this little colorful piece on the bottom. So I want to have a lot of movement. I want to use a lot of beautiful gems and rocks. This, this is actually tourmaline, but also it's an ancient bone, very ancient bone. And this is done in a way too, where I really want this part here to drip down the back and land and have this beautiful little jewel sitting right down your back too. So the way that I build jewelry is really for a whole look, for a whole description. And I started off in fashion, so I'm always building everything, I'm not just gonna show up with one little piece on, so. Anyway, so in talking about the tools and all of this, each time that I come in on Instagram, I want to talk about a few more tips and a few more things you can do. Today, I have set up here to talk about pliers. So, when for the Alchemy of Soldering, which you can get there through my profile, I actually have the free soldering set up. I've got all the tools that you're gonna need for soldering for $200, $250. I've been using that setup for 3 years and only that setup. So I really challenged myself and I've been building all my jewelry just with that setup. So that's kind of really has been fun for me and a nice challenge. And I realized why. It's so, I can kind of turn this on into the world. So it's cool. These are some of my favorite pliers. They're tapered. You can see how they're tapered. I love these pliers because they can grab, and I just find they're so useful. I use these so much in my work. Another set that I use a lot is the needle nose pliers, really for getting in and doing these curves and circles. And the last one, really, 3 that I really love using a lot is just the chain nose. And pretty much, I just try to keep my palette simple. For me, I like having the tools that I need on hand. I'm happier if, and then I use a really good chunky set of snips too. So, the more simplistic my life can be, I've been working so much on simplifying my life so I can really expand it in other ways. It's just the idea of being able to go to Morocco and collect and build in the middle of Morocco. And I'll be tracking that too, but also in India and different places. And to be able to take up a smaller footprint in life as a silversmith feels really good to me. So I want to show you guys on how you can take, here's an old crappy pair right here with a spring on here. I don't know how much these pliers were, but I do know you can go onto Amazon and buy like a $20 set of pliers. And I'm gonna show you how to take them apart and really make them nice and doable. This is the, on my right hand right here, this is actually the Allen Revere pliers that are really expensive. In this hand here, these are the pliers that I built by taking apart. So the thing that I love about these pliers is that I really can operate them in this way, you know, with my hand on the inside. This is how I operate them. There's not a spring inside here. To me, the spring, if you have a spring, you're gonna feel your hand operating down in here when you're using your spring, which gives you carpal tunnel. So like I say, I'm always trying to just show how to do things easier and keep your body in good shape by standing, posture, forging, all of that. So with this, I want to be able to operate in this way, and I have control on where my pliers are. With a piece like this with the spring inside, this one actually, this works as a spring, and this actually is making my, you can see where I'm working my hand in here. You can see that working. See that moving in there? That's not gonna be good in the long run for my hand. So I'm gonna take this off right away. So in order to get to this, it's super easy to do. In order to get to this, I'm gonna have to peel this off, and I'll show you right now. So let's get this pointed downward to my table. You can hear that wind whipping out there. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm making a piece like this, and I'm gonna start with just coming in right here, and I am going to just get this snipped off. Take my scissors or snips and just cut down as far as I can, and the rest I should be able to just get this ripped off. Oh, see, the spring just fell. Oop, the spring just fell right off on this side, so that's good news. I won't even have to snip that. There it is right here. It was just contained in there nice and tight by the rubber that's on the handle. And again, I'm gonna get in here like this and remove this rubber piece. Actually, I think if I peel this down, I can get a lot farther. And I will be able to have a beautiful pair of pliers when I get to the end of this. Let's see if I can pull this down. Oh my goodness. Sometimes we need a pair of pliers to pull this down. Grab my pliers. This is pretty old and coming apart. If you do like, you know, if you really do like the rubber pieces though, in your work, there's actually a solution you can buy from the hardware store to dip that. Freedom, guys. This already feels amazing. Now, my next step that I would do, actually, I have a jeweler's wheel that I get this on, but you're just gonna wanna sand this up. Look at how beautiful the silver is surfacing. The sandpaper goes a long way. Sand this up really nicely. You guys can hear that wind whipping around to entertain you while I'm sanding. But this is really gonna be, you know, you can sand it all the way to the end of your pliers. This is the WD-40. Love this. This actually gets rid of rust, and it gets rid of, I usually put a towel with this, but it gets rid of rust. It's going to get rid of, and it oils it up nicely too. So here we go here. I'm gonna spray it on this side. If your pliers are even stuck, this is gonna take off all of this rust. Usually I'll let this sit like, you know, just soaking for like an hour, and then I'll come back in, I'll wash it off right away for you guys. The important areas to get it into are right in here and right in here at the hinging, where it hinges. And now you've got a very beautiful, inexpensive pair of pliers. Ta-da, works beautiful. So this is a pretty cool way to save money with your tools, you know, if you don't want to do a big investment right off. And a lot of these tips and more I'll be showing every week. But also, like I said, you can find all of this on, this would be a good one for holding pieces while I'm drawing a bead or while I'm annealing. putting things back and forth into the water, this type of a plier would work in that way. So anyway, thank you for joining me and enjoy doing your jewelry work.